Welcome to F1 with DRS. I'm Dan Shepard. I'm joined by Matthew Collins and Jethro Bovington. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys? I'm sorry I missed you last time. I was in a very busy airport in Milan.
Yeah, what was that experience like?
Well, it was fine. I did a cool thing. I went to Pininfarina, who are based just outside Turin, but flying to Turin from the UK is not easy. So I flew into Milan, Malpensa, went to see their wind tunnel, which is super cool. And they were telling me a bit about F1 cars in wind tunnels, which was fun as well. And then I thought I'd be able to sneak back, get through security, go to the lounge, find a quiet corner, and hook up and speak to you guys about the Grand Prix. And sadly, none of those things happened because it was chaos.
I think your average person is a little annoyed. I forget what the number is, but it's around 8 million podcasts, active podcasts. That seems to irritate people. But certainly if people in the lounge are doing their podcasts, that might take it to a whole new level. Like if I
thought it would be great.
Oh, it would be great for
Especially
us.
as I'm not even flying like business or anything. I was flying economy, but I was going to get into the lounge. I was like, yeah, this could be really good. I mean, to be honest, there's not in Italy, there's a lot of loud Italians gesticulating and talking with their hands. So I don't think they would have noticed.
I think we use the word passionate.
They are definitely passionate. They are passionate. Yeah, and if it's not them, they'll be loud American businessmen just talking endlessly about deals on their phone.
That is my biggest frustration. And now everyone seems to just think it's okay to be on their speakerphone when they don't need to be. And it's always like, yeah, $1 million, make it happen now. And I was like, none of these people are on the phone with anyone.
At first, I was like, I can't relate to you guys, but now that I think about it, it's always when traveling and it's always at the gate, and there's always some business dude who thinks this is the most important deal point of all time. I always feel like grandstanding a bit, if I'm being honest. I feel like it's a little performative.
Yes.
Like they want everyone there to know that they are a wheeler and a dealer making major moves.
Luckily with Dyson, I get to fly first class. And because my dad was a pilot, I'm the first one at the gate. I'm like first person there waiting to get on the plane. I just want to get on the plane. And every time I'm usually dressed like this, and it's always that guy that comes up and tries to push by me. And he's like, this is the first class line. I'm like, and I just turn around, I look at him, I was like, yeah, I know.
Well,
and
look,
he just doesn't get how I could be in first class.
But you can't have it all ways.
No.
You can't walk down the street and look like you're on your way to Guitar Center.
True.
And also have people assume that you're in first class. You know, you got to pick your lane, you're in it.
True.
I go another way. I'm not offended. I'm delighted. Like I'm in the first class line and I get that same thing. Yeah. And then I think, that's right. You don't even know. And I know. And this is great. And I actually bought my ticket and your business bought your ticket. Yeah. I go out the other way. It kind of inflates my ego that I look like a shithead there.
I get it. But what I do like, and I feel like such an asshole for liking it, is when that guy's an asshole to me. And he's not in business class. He's just priority because he's flown so much.
Oh, sure.
But he's in like the first line behind it. And I'm just like, I just like look at him as he's walking past me.
You should give a playful wave as he goes by.
Yeah.
Or you should be the guy who goes up and draws the curtain to shut the poor people out with a look of disdain on your face.
He comes to use the bathroom and I'm like, sorry, sir, not
Put an
arm
out. Yeah, clothesline him. Hey, can we go back to Pininfarina or however you pronounce it?
A Pininfarina.
Pininfarina. Explain Pininfarina, because I know they designed many of the Ferraris and then weirdly also the Cadillac Alante. Are they independent from Ferrari? How does that work?
They are, yeah. So they're a old-fashioned coach building and design house back in the day. And yeah, Sergio Pininfarina just designed absolutely beautiful cars, some of the gorgeous Ferraris from the 60s, 70s and before. And for a little while, it looked like Ferrari would effectively absorb Pininfarina, but they never did. And now Ferrari have actually taken most of their designs in-house, so they don't work that much with Pininfarina. But Pininfarina do a lot of special projects. So if you want one of those super duper one-off Ferraris or any sort of one-off car, then Pininfarina started doing that. Ferrari recognized it and then started their own department doing it. But they do engineering, styling, all sorts of stuff. And they've got places in Turin, Miami. I think they've just opened a styling place in New York. They've got a couple of places in China. So they're like a one-stop shop engineering styling house.
The Venn diagram overlap of easy places to get cocaine seems obvious. Miami.
Yes. Well, come on. I mean, it's Pininfarina. It's cool. But this wind tunnel was 50 years old. So it was like the first full-size wind tunnel, I think, in Italy, maybe in Europe. And it was super cool because it's obviously been upgraded over the years, but it's like a Cold War submarine or something. When you walk in the door, all these big heavy metal doors with huge bars to open them. It was just like super cool. And they build a new electric supercar now. It's pretty complicated. It's not actually the same company, but it's called Automobili Pininfarina, with like 1900 horsepower electric thing. So we had that, but we also had, which was really cool, this was for a road and track feature coming up, we had a Lamborghini Miura in the Pininfarina wind tunnel.
I just asked you the other day if that would make your top 5 list, because it would for me, and you said I've never driven one, I can't put it there, which was very ethical, but I'm going on looks alone, I can put it there.
It's beautiful. And the funny thing is it was designed by Bertone, so it's like almost like one of the enemies of Pininfarina. So to get it in the Pininfarina wind tunnel was cool. But I think Lambo said they don't think anyone has ever put a Miura in a wind tunnel, even Lamborghini back in the day, obviously. So it was, and they famously, people at the time who drove them said the front would start to take off at 150 mile an hour and all that stuff. So we put it in one wind tunnel to see what would happen.
What happened? Did it lift?
It did a backflip and land on its roof.
Oh my God, how exciting.
No, it didn't really.
Oh my God, I believed you. I 100% believe you.
I got the results, but the great flaw in my plan was that I have no freaking clue what the results mean because they're all written in aerodynamicist speak. So I am having the data interpreted as we speak, and I should get it in the next day or two.
And it seems like they would want to strap it down like you would on a dyno in some capacity. Because what if they got that wind tunnel up to 160 and then they just shot across the room and fucking, because those things are worth, they got to be a couple $1 million now, those Miras?
Yeah, I don't know if they're that much, but this one would have been. It was a SV, one of the last ones built, owned by Walter Wolf, who was one of the big Lambo investors back in the day. So it's like super cool history. Yeah, they strapped it down. We only ran the wind tunnel up to, I can't remember what it was, like 120 miles an hour or something. It goes up to 160 something, but it was a really cool thing to be in. But I was asking them about Formula One models and stuff, because most of the Formula One cars can't go in a full-scale wind tunnel. They're half-scale, I think, by I think that's part of the rules, probably to do with the cost cap. But he was saying, this guy, that even the models that they put in the wind tunnel for F1 are at least $1 million.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, they'd have to be, right? Because you're making an entirely new car just because it's to scale. I'm sure, you scale down all the CAD stuff, but you're building the mold for the monocoque and everything. It still has to be the same.
Yeah, but they're just made of I don't know what they're made of, but not carbon fiber,
They're not?
I'm assuming. No, I don't. Well, maybe they are, but
they'd have to be, right? Because you'd get body flex and stuff that would affect the aero.
You're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right. And then it's all the sensors. They have sensors all over them, and but they were saying it's amazing what they're doing in F1, obviously, because it always is.
Well, people who didn't grow up in the auto industry in the way I did, my mom worked at General Motors. I had a stepdad who was in the Corvette group, so I got to go to a lot of these different design studios. And have you ever seen the clay models of cars?
I've gone down a rabbit hole of watching them being made.
Yeah.
And it's I would love to be there.
Yeah, they carve it just like when you do pottery and you're trimming the lid, or the lip of your pot. They're just going down and they're just forming it by scraping away the clay. It's so cool. As a kid, I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what I want. I want to build clay cars in my backyard.
It's the last thing you would have thought would be the way that they do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. But okay, and then you said Bertone. So Bertone also designed some Ferraris. They had their own little car, remember, in the 80s.
They did very few Ferraris. They did a car called the 308 GT4, which was the
Magnum PI car.
No, that's the Pininfarina. That's the beautiful, very sensuous, curvy Pininfarina. Look, the Bertone one was very squared off. And at the time, it was a 2+2, and people sort of hated them. But actually, they look cooler and cooler, and now they're starting to become valuable. And they look actually pretty awesome. Very different to Pininfarina stuff.